Hi, it's Kevin May, the Editor-in-Chief of Phocuswire. I'm here at the Phocuswright Conference 2021. Delighted. Once again, actually, we've spoken a couple of times at these events, is Noam Shapira. You are now the co-founder and president of Pattern Insurance. You were the CEO at Setu, which is when we spoke to you before. So first of all, talk to us about the combination of the two organizations and how that's worked.
Perfect. First of all, Kevin, it's always great coming to over here. During 2020, as Setu, we realized that we wanted to expand to the US. And as part of that, we started talking with insurance and investors, and was part of our investors and so. And we came across this company called Pattern Insurance that was founded over here, actually in the Silicon Valley, at the other side of the US. And we realized that they're doing things that are quite similar to what we're doing in the US. And they have a good vision, good capabilities, good access to insurance in the US. So instead of building everything that we had to do in order to enter the US and sell insurance for consumers that are coming from the US, we decided to integrate and merger, and that's where we are today. We built a company that holds the strengths of ours in the Europe market and theirs in the US market, and together we are building a great embedded insurance. One thing to say maybe is that we are actually allowing businesses to sell to their consumers, but their consumers are not necessarily coming only from Europe. They're actually coming from all over around. And so merging this was quite a very important thing for us to do.
Okay, so this might seem a really silly question, and I hope you forgive me, but what has the COVID situation done to travel insurance generally? I know you're not a broker, you're not an insurance provider, you're a reseller, but just generally, what has happened to travel insurance policies just generally as a result of COVID?
So first of all, needless to say, 2020, we've seen the industry seeing lots of losses around the things, and needless to say, at the same time, people stopped traveling just because of restriction and everything. However, one of the things that happened, and we've seen it very cool, is that customers are much more aware of the need of a protection when they are traveling, right? So today, you won't find almost a customer that when he books a trip, doesn't think about, okay, what happens if this happens or that happens? And COVID is, of course, a very important thing that can happen, right? If you're quarantined at home and you cannot travel, if you have a restriction. So people today are much more aware, and you will see less people buying something without either a cancellation capability or a full insurance and so on.
Would you say then that logically means that selling insurance is an easier thing for a travel brand to do, just because people are more either interested or knowing that they need to buy it, the actual process of it?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, travel brands, at the end of the day, need to add some kind of a value when they're selling the insurance, right? Because consumers can go out elsewhere and get them. The value that they can add is by the information that they have in the customer journey about what the consumer is buying, right? Yeah. If you're buying a trip from Miami to New York, there's different sets of risks that might be relevant for you versus the ones that are if you're traveling from Miami to Tel Aviv, right? And therefore, the thing is using the power of what they have, the knowledge that they have about the consumer, in order to make sure that they offer a good protection to that consumer, regardless of their understanding of insurance, making sure that they are offering the right product and right protection.
Are the actual policies themselves more complicated as well as a result of the pandemic?
Say again, sorry?
Are the policies, the actual insurance policies themselves, more complicated, or is it still, your protection is this and your protection is that, or has it become more complex?
No, in a sense, one of the things that we try to do, both as Setu and now as Pattern, basically, is making sure that protections are as simple to understand as possible, right? Because at the end of the day, you want to capture the consumer. You want to capture him while he's buying, he's booking the hotel, he's booking a trip, he's booking an RV, he's booking a ski vacation. Yep. You want to capture them there. And if you're going to be a complex product, there's likelihood that he won't understand and he won't purchase or will hesitate and buy somewhere else. So we're trying to keep the products quite simple and quite easy to understand.
And I've asked you this before, but I'm wondering if it's changed. I mean, what types of travel brands are better sellers of travel insurance as an ancillary? Is it airlines or online travel agencies? Do they is one more effective at selling your products on behalf of insurance companies?
I think what I see at least is that online travel agents are usually more aggressive in terms of their ability to try to identify what the consumer needs, how can they add value to the consumer, and so on.
Yep.
And therefore, that's why I think that we'll see them doing a bit better, but it's not necessarily the case always.
Okay.
There's no real statement here.
And last of all, Noam, I mean, is there a most effective time that the consumer should be buying the insurance? Is it at the checkout phase? Is it the kind of the pre-trip customer CRM phase, or is it something else?
Excellent question. What we've seen, in fact, is that consumer converts better if it's just before the checkout, because that's the place where the concern is coming. However, for the consumer itself, it's their decision to make. I think that it's easier to buy the protection just before checkout because you don't need to enter your information. Everything is known. So in a sense, it's a few clicks away and you have insurance in cart and you just check out.
Okay, great. Noam Shapira, thank you for joining me again from Patent Insurance this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.